Mhm.
Hi, this is D.R. Rawson. I'm the Executive Director with Las Vegas, and I'm here today to interview Bruce Shaw. Bruce is our guy who sees each and every survey that you're going to produce. He knows the mistakes that are most commonly made and those things that people typically forget to do. So there's some real words of wisdom here. So Bruce is going to take this over and tell us what we can do better, Bruce.
Okay. When I review your assessments, you've gone out in the field, you've written down your notes, it's our entire system with the information that you provided. Now I'm going to go down and I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to look at your pictures, and I can't stress enough, good pictures. You walk into a space, you take 2, 3, 4 pictures, as many as you need of the space, so that I got a sense of how the light's being used, how the place is laid out, how high up in the air the fixtures are. I need a sense of, okay, what are we doing with this light in here? Then when I look at the fixtures that they have installed, I can also be thinking about what should we do to replace what they have installed. I'm going to be looking at your estimated hours of operation. You need to be reasonably accurate with that. Conference rooms are going to be 2 or 3 hours a day at the most. Closets are going to be 2 or 3 hours a week at the most. Typically, there are exceptions. But you just need to put some thinking into it when you write those hours down. Don't write 12/7 down in every cell all the way to the bottom, because I know that's not right. You have to you have to think about each location. If you walk into an office, you're going down a hallway and there's offices on both sides of the hallway. You stick your head in an office and the lights are off. Don't put down 10/7. The person in that office turns the lights off when they leave. Or you look and see if they have a motion sensor. If they have a motion sensor in there, those lights are probably only on 4 or 5 hours a day. And that's one of the things you want to be checking for as you go down the hallway. Another thing you want to check for going down the hallway is emergency lighting. Now, of course, we have in our package that you can take out with you a questionnaire. And one of the questions is, what do you do for emergency lighting? Emergency lighting is really critical. Some places use backup generators. If they use a backup generator, we're done. We've got no more questions about emergency lighting. Some places use these wall-mounted bug eyes. They have 1 or 2 lamps that point out. They're battery powered. They come on when the power goes off. If that's what they use, great. We're not going to touch them, and we don't need to concern ourselves with emergency lighting. But if you see one little red button inside of a fixture, rest assured there's a bunch of them, and we need to know how many there are. Make it 2 separate lines in your location sheet. You have hallway, and then you have hallway with emergency backup.
So let me stop you for just a minute. So you're saying that that red button is on the light itself, and when that exists, you've essentially, even though it looks like one fixture, you've got 2.
Yeah, you'll see them in recess cans, round recess cans. You'll see a red button. Sometimes it's inside, but sometimes it's on the ceiling adjacent to the fixture.
Mm-hmm.
With troughers, you'll usually see it inside of the troffer someplace on one end or the other. With linear strips, you'll usually see it on the side on one end or the other.
And the purpose of that button is what?
That little red button is telling the fire marshal that the battery is charged up and that lamp is in service for emergency purposes. That little red button is a little red lamp that the fire marshal can see when he walks through the facility. So if there is a little red button on it, we need to know that, and we need to know how many of them there are. It is an expensive change order if we miss it in the first assessment.
Okay, good to know.
Then, as you're going through the facility, you're paying attention to what's going on everywhere, what the lighting levels are, what the customer is saying that they want. What color light do they want? Do they need more light? Do they want less light? Do they want controls? What kind of controls do they want? They want motion sensors? They want dimming? Do they want, some of the more sophisticated controls? Uh, you know, you're assessing that as well as the lighting. When I review your assessment, I'm going to go down through. I'm going to be asking myself those questions, and if there's something that jumps out at me, I'm going to send you an email and I'm going to ask you to clarify what's going on. I'll reference a line number in the email and say, well, on line 38, you're saying you want to put, new lamps in. I don't think we should. The fixture is crappy. We need to replace it. But you'll be involved in that process. After I finish reviewing it, I'll move it along. It'll go to the executive director, and the executive director is going to look at, the financials on it, what the return on investment is, and what we can do to, possibly improve on the package. Maybe we can change the term or the interest rates on a leasing program, for instance. There are things we can do that, still, get us the money we need for the job, but make it a little bit easier for the customer to be able to, afford to actually go forward on the job. My goal is that within 24 hours of you completing an assessment, I will have it moved over to the executive director's office, and the executive director's goal is to have it ready for printing within a week. So that within a week of you putting your information in, you should have a proposal in your hands to go back to your customer with. That's our goal. We don't always get there, but that is our goal, to be able to turn these things around.
Well, I think now that we've reduced the proposal from the 20 to 34 pages that we had before to 4, it's much easier to print, much easier to transport, much easier to get to the client. Everything gets produced a lot faster. So that's great. And it's a lot more direct. Any other things you can think of, Bruce, that you'd like to add last minute?
I want everyone to understand that, you have a tremendous amount of experience sitting behind you. We're here to help you with any lighting question that comes up. Don't be afraid to tell your customer, I need to get back to somebody to check on this. I want to make sure I'm right on this. And, you'll get an answer as quick as possible. I'm available from very early in the morning on, and you can contact me anytime you want. I've got some people who call almost every day at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's fine. Let's get the questions answered. It's going to help you in your learning process. It's going to take a while to become a lighting expert, so to speak. But every job you go out on, you're going to pick up a little bit more information, a little bit better understanding. The more questions you ask, the better you're going to understand it. But rest assured, there are people behind you who can answer the questions. And there are sophisticated buyers out there who can ask some very sophisticated questions.
Right.
And, don't be ashamed of saying, hey, I need to find out about that.
That point right there should be fundamental. Over the years, I've had hundreds of salespeople work for me. And the one thing I wanted them to understand was they don't have to know everything. I didn't hire them because I thought they knew everything under the sun. If they have a question, bring it to me or bring it to someone else. In this case, you, if there's a question relative to that survey, they should be able to ask me, ask a regional, ask you. Almost anyone in the company can help them. We will get them the information they need so that they don't have to sit out there and wonder what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And then the name of the game for Lightsaber is turn these things quickly. Most lighting companies take weeks to get a proposal back to their customer. We want to turn it in a week if we can. And by the same token, once a project's approved, we want to get it done. I know lighting companies that can take over a year to finish a project. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into a project, understood, but if everybody does their little piece of the action correctly and timely, we can do this. And we have been doing it. Lightsaber has been doing projects now for over 3 years, 4 years. You know, we know how to get it done. Just need accurate information on the front end, and the more accurate it is, the faster the project will go through.
Actually, we've been doing this for almost 5 years, and that's a long time. We've got a lot of jobs behind us right now, most of them in the Pacific Northwest where you are, but down here in Las Vegas and Arizona and other places, other parts of the world, we expect to make a difference as well. So thanks so much, Bruce. We appreciate your time, and look for a call from any one of us. Thanks so much. I'm D.R. Rawson saying thank you, Bruce Shaw, for your time, and you guys take a look at this over and over again. There's some real pearls in here. And I know we went by this pretty quickly, but you should listen to this 1 or 2 times at least. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you in the next video. Okay, we're done. How
Okay.
about that?
Okay. You're still recording.